How's it going, guys? I'm Vivi and welcome back to some Yooka-Laylee. So very recently we got some brand new gameplay. No, it's not a new world or anything like that. It's actually multiplayer. The team did talk about minigames and stuff like that a while ago. Now, by quickly looking at these guys, I quickly thought of banjo-tooie. If some of you have played that game, doesn't this remind you of the minigames, the split screen, shooting eggs at other players, the different colored kazooies? I mean, look at the different colored yukas. I thought of banjo-tooie. Or maybe it's just me. Anyways, multiplayer in Yooka-Laylee will be local, it's not going to be online. And this reminds me of the good old days. Remember when you used to sit on the couch with a bunch of friends and played mini games on Nintendo 64? That's what the team at Playtonic was aiming for. They wanted to add this traditional feel to it. Banjo-kazooie, banjo-tooie pretty much. I mean, people who worked on those games are part of Playtonic, so it makes sense. And like I've said many times, Yooka-Laylee is the banjo-tooie which we never got. And I can't wait to pick this game up. So with that out of the way, let's look at these gameplays quick. So overall, these minigames look pretty fun, and for those of you who don't know, the music for the minigames section is being composed by Steve Burke. Okay, so now, how exactly are we supposed to unlock these minigames? We have to find a huge arcade machine in each level, but we also have to find a play token and give it to Rextro. There's one play token in each level. We haven't seen him that much, but I can show you guys a screenshot right now. This one is hidden in Tribalstack Tropics, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, but once we find these arcade machines and give a play token to Rextro, how many minigames do we unlock? I'm gonna go with one or even perhaps two, but I will get to this discussion very shortly. Anyways, just by quickly looking at these minigames, guys, I think my favorite one will be the one which you have to keep running forward and collect as much quills as you can. As for my second favorite, I'm gonna go with the one which you have to shoot frostberries to the corplets. Honestly, guys, since we're talking about Yooka-Laylee, I was expecting something kind of similar to one of banjo-tooie's minigames, the whole aspect of split screen, but I think the team simply didn't want to make it too similar. But I'm still happy, I'm not complaining. According to Playtonic Games, there's going to be a total of 8 minigames. Okay, wait a minute. If there's one minigame in each world, in each arcade machine, does that mean that 8 worlds have been confirmed? Not necessarily. Some of these gameplays have a similar theme, and I'm talking about the environment. 2 minigames have the same theme as Tribalstack Tropics, 2 have the same theme as Ivory Towers, which is a hub world, by the way. So I'm assuming there's going to be an arcade machine within the hub world. There's one for Glitterglaze Glacier, the ice, the snow and everything, and one for capital Cashino. Looking at the huge casino tokens, it's pretty obvious. So if we count all the themes, these minigames pretty much represent 3 worlds so far. Tribalstack Tropics, Glitterglaze Glacier, and capital Cashino. Ivory Towers is a hub world, so that one doesn't really count. Counting all minigames, we have 6. There's a total of 8. As for those 2 unknown ones, could those maybe represent the worlds which we haven't seen yet? No one knows. But there might actually be the possibility of 6 worlds. I did discuss about this idea in another video. If you want to check that out, go ahead. What I did in that video, just to give you a brief summary, I looked at the totals menu and tried coming up with a conclusion. You know, trying to figure out how many worlds are in the game. Now come to think of it, all these minigames in the trailer, they reveal 3 worlds, right? For those 2 unknown minigames, if we put them together, that adds up to 5 worlds. Well, assuming those 2 unknown minigames represent the worlds we haven't seen yet. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna try and not confuse you guys. So with that out of the way, let's jump into the minigames. I'm gonna try and analyze them quick. Minigame number 1, we have to capture the flag. I'm assuming we have to hold on to it as long as we can. Are we supposed to take it somewhere, to our base maybe? It doesn't look like it. Plus, we don't even have points on the corners of the screen. All we have is the icon of the flag. Once it appears, the icon appears. Now we also have to be careful. From time to time, a corplet or even a corplet punisher will appear, and one of them seemed to be running super fast, so yeah, we have to try and avoid that. You can also hit other players by performing a spinning attack, also known as tail twirl. Have you guys noticed the switches green, red, yellow, blue? I don't really know what they do, we can't really tell. There's only one thing I've noticed about these switches. When the blue one is off or pressed, fire appears, and what that fire does, it pretty much creates a detour. It's gonna take us longer to reach the flag. Well, we don't really see it in the gameplay, but you know what I mean. If you've noticed, for the blue switch there's actually 3 blue squares. The red one has 3 as well. For the green and yellow, those have 4. So if those ones activate, it's going to be a lot harder for the players to reach the flag. Last thing about this minigame, there are a bunch of exits. On the left, on the right, on the top, and on the bottom. By going through those openings, we come out from the other side. Anyways, that's pretty much it for minigame number 1. Let's move on to the second one. This one right here, we have to collect as much quills as we can. We have to be careful and avoid the obstacles, or else we're gonna lose a bunch of quills. Now the bronze ones are worth 100. As for the other ones, I will get to that very shortly. For the power meter, it's shown, right? But we don't even know what it does. We're a bunch of corplets. Cause Yooka usually performs his role and that consumes power. Now I have a question. Can we switch between characters in each minigame, or does each minigame have its own characters? What do you guys think? Last thing I want to mention about this gameplay. There seems to be no health. What happens is when we get hit by an obstacle, we die and respawn later. Oh, and the camera moves on its own. If we get left behind, we're just gonna die. One little thing I want to mention, extra. There seems to be this container of colored pencils. We saw the same exact thing in the cutscene in the E3 trailer. We also saw it during the Shipwreck Creek gameplay. So I have no idea, is this supposed to be like an Easter egg or something? With that being said, let's move on to the next one. This one I think is going to be my favorite. We have to keep running straight forward. We have to be careful and avoid obstacles, of course. If we hit an obstacle, we lose a bunch of quills. Okay, for the quills, there seems to be bronze, silver, and gold. The bronze one is worth 100, the silver one is worth 200, and the gold one is 500. Now, by performing the reptile roll, we can accelerate, and of course, it does consume power. And the power meter, it reloads on its own. Next, in this minigame, we have to attack a bunch of corplets using frostberries. Each corplet equals 100 points. If we attack the bee, it causes an explosion and we lose quills. If we look carefully, it seems like the blue Yooka is the one who shot the bee and caused the explosion. Now we don't know how many points this blue Yooka lost. And why? Because Rextro's head is in the way. Next gameplay, we have Nimble the Cloud throwing a bunch of quills all around. We have to be careful though, the platforms fall off. The blue ones remain intact. So what we're supposed to do in this minigame is collect as many quills as we can. And the player who has the most in the end is the winner. Oh, and I think I forgot to mention this, if you're first place, you get a crown over your head. Now what happens if the player falls off? We don't know, we don't see it in the gameplay, but I'm gonna assume that we're gonna lose a bunch of quills. Or maybe we'll lose them completely and have to restart all over. Just like the flag minigame, we can perform Yooka's tail twirl to hit other players so they lose quills. Not only that, they get stunned, right? So they might fall off the edge. Now the thing about this gameplay, we don't have any scores. So how are we supposed to know how many quills we have? I think the scores are gonna be shown in the end. I think they want to keep it a surprise. And you know, make it more suspense, exciting. With that out of the way, we finally move on to the last minigame, which got revealed in the trailer. It's a race. There's going to be 5 laps. Power is consumed when firing cannonballs at other players, and I think we're riding inside car toss. If we compare car toss to the actual story, when firing cannonballs we usually don't use power, but we're comparing a minigame with the story mode. They're two complete different things, right? Talking about two complete different things, this brings me back to banjo-tooie. In that game, the minigames were actually from the story mode. In Yooka-Laylee, they're completely separate. The minigames are their own standalone thing. So with that being said, we move on to single player. Like Rextro said, if you don't have friends, you can play single player. Now this is what I love about Yooka-Laylee. It has that old classic humor to it, just like banjo-kazooie. I love it. Now major difference comparing these to the multiplayer, there's actually health. We have 5 butterflies. Now in these minigames, we do have perks, upgrades, boosts, magic, whatever you want to call it. We either can gain invincibility, speed, a higher rate of fire, or there's one which is poison. By picking that up, I think it actually reduces the number of quills we have. It does say bad quills on top of our head after all. Okay, now we did talk about multiplayer. What about co-op gameplay? The team did talk about that a while ago. We haven't seen any sort of gameplay yet, but there is an explanation on their main website. Here it is. As well as the local multiplayer arcade games, Yooka-Laylee offers a second player the opportunity to co-star in the main Yooka-Laylee adventure. Taking control of the B team, a second player can grab quills, collect and store butterflies, stop traps, and more. Establish your own buddy duo and adventure through Yooka-Laylee in co-op mode. Taking control of a unique co-op character, a second player can assist Yooka and Laylee by stunning enemies and helping them tackle tricky challenges. No piggyback required. That's pretty much all the info we have on the co-op gameplay. So the trailer ends, and there's something missing. Where is the Switch logo? Is it even confirmed that they're going to port it to the Switch? I've been reading comments and a lot of people kept mentioning the Nintendo Switch version. Guys, look, according to Grant Kirkhope on his Twitter page, he explained that they've already confirmed it. We've already confirmed there's a Switch version. On their main website, it stated that they're working closely with Nintendo to bring Yooka-Laylee to the Switch. So guys, I think you shouldn't worry. I know the logo is absent from the trailer, but don't worry. Okay, since it's confirmed, when when exactly is it going to release? No one knows, and I'm assuming that the Switch version will release way later. It's not going to get released on April 11th. It's way too early, it's gonna take some time. Yes, of course, the Nintendo Switch does support Unity, and maybe some of you might say, oh, it's easy, it's not gonna take that long. It's gonna take a while. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna leave it at that. If you have any thoughts, leave them in the comment section below, as usual. And as always, I've been Vivi, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time.